When you take your EOG, you're going to be expected to be able to complete more difficult problems like this order of operations problem. This will show that you really understand your integer rules. So as we get better at using our integer rules, we're going to apply them to more and more difficult problems. So let's review the order of operations. You have to follow the steps 1, 2, 3, 4 in order. Let's look first at grouping symbols. I use grouping symbols instead of parentheses because grouping symbols includes brackets, parentheses, ellipses, fraction bars, all of those things. So I think it's more specific. I like to use GEMDOS instead of PEMDOS. So let's look for our grouping symbols. I see here that we have a bracket, and then I also see parentheses here and parentheses here. When you see a set of grouping symbols that only has one number inside of it, that is as simple as that grouping symbol gets. So this -10, there's nothing we have to do with this. Over here, the -5, there's nothing we have to do with that. But inside the bracket, you can see there's two numbers in an operation. So we take 10 and divide it by -5, and we end up with -2, because a positive divided by a negative gives you a negative number. And then I just copy the rest of the problem. That's supposed to be multiplication. And then I'm finished with grouping symbols. I know that I'm finished with grouping symbols when I only have one number inside of the grouping symbols. So now I move on to exponents. Remember, exponents are when you have a tiny little number up at the top right corner of a variable, or it might be at the top right corner of a number. So this is an exponent of 3, this is an exponent of 2. There are no exponents in our problem. So next we have to deal with the multiplication. We have to do the multiplication and division before we move on to addition and subtraction. So we need to look at this multiplication over here. That's the next step. -2 times -10 gives me a positive 20. Like signs give you a positive. I bring down the subtraction symbol, I bring down the 6. So I'm done, or I'm finished with the multiplication division, and I'm ready to move on to addition and subtraction. The final step is subtraction, but I'm actually going to change this to addition. So I need to make two changes. You keep the first number, you change that subtraction to addition, and then you write the opposite of the 20. So 6 minus 20 is the same as 6 plus a -20. Signs are different, you subtract. 20 minus 6 is 14, and we have more negatives than positives. So our final answer is -14.